Hey, what is up guys? This is Josh the Gamer here, coming at you with a brand new video. So today we are going to be continuing on our Quorum game programming series, and in this tutorial video we are going to be learning about collision detection. Now, what is collision detection? Well, collision detection is pretty much a way where you can detect collisions between two items within your game. So for example, in a space shooter, you want to test to see if one of your bullets hits an enemy, or if one of the enemy's bullets hits you, or something of that nature. So I'm going to show you how to do collision detection using the Quorum game engine. So first off, we need to have some imports. So in this case, I have the drawable class imported, the input monitor class, the keyboard event class, as well as collision event 2D and collision listener 2D. Now, the collision listener 2D and collision event 2D are required for collision detection. And specifically the collision listener 2D, in case you haven't realized this already, like we have with all of our other listener classes, we need to extend from it. We need to inherit from it. So after game, do a colon, and then collision listener 2D. Now we need to create some actions called begin collision and finish collision. I'm just going to change this collision parameter to event just so it's easier on me and I don't have to do as much typing. Begin collision and finish collision come from the collision listener 2D class and are used for, the purpose of detecting collisions and saying, hey, this is what you do when this is beginning a collision or finishing a collision. So as you can see, what I've done here is in the update action, I've done the logic for moving the player left and right. I've loaded in a filled circle and a filled rectangle, as well as set the positions for them and added them to the screen. So this is pretty much what we have right now. I'm gonna build it and run it just to show you guys what we have. So this is pretty much what we have right now. Very simple. And what we're gonna do is this wall right here is going to detect when this is collided with this, and this is going to detect when this is collided with this. That way, when these two collide, the player will be set back to 0, 0. Pretty neat, I think. I'm going to go ahead and set this to 90 because this needs to be quicker so we don't have to wait a long ass time. Okay, and pardon my French, but it does get kind of annoying having to sit here and wait. So, let's get started. First things first, let's make sure we add our collision listener. And how do you do that? Well, like with all of our other listener classes, we need to add and then that specific listener. So as you can see here, we have two add collision listeners, one for 2D and one for 3D. In this case, we're doing 2D. So make sure it's 2D. And we need to pass me to this. That way, it'll say, hey, this main class is the collision listener. Look in this class for finish collision and begin collision, as well as look for the tests to test for collision in here. Alright, so next, what we need to do is we need to set the names. So I'm going to we need to set the names for the drawables. So I'm going to do set name for the player. I'm going to name it player. And then wall, set name, very generic, wall. Now we need to set these collidable. So player, set collidable, true, wall, set collidable, true. And what this will do is it will pretty much allow for the player and the wall to detect collisions. Alright, so now once that's done, inside of our begin collision action, we need to declare two drawables, one for item A and one for item B. This is very important for collision detection because you need to make sure that you test for both items in the collision so you know which item is what. So I'm going to say drawable A equals event get item A, and as you can see, this doesn't work because get item A returns a item 2D. So we need to cast that item 2D to a drawable, and that way it will work. So drawable B equals cast drawable event get item B, and if I would spell event right, that would help. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, we can now test for our collisions. So if A colon get name is equal to player, or A colon get name is equal to wall, we want to set the player's position back to 0, 0. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and save that, run it, and make sure that it works. Alright, that's a lot faster. And there we go. As you can see, once it collides, it gets set back to 0, 0. Really cool. And so that's pretty much how you detect collisions. It's really not that difficult. I'm going to go ahead and go over this again with you guys so you guys know what you need to do. First, you need to extend from collision listener 2D. Then you need to add the collision listener. In this case, this class is the collision listener. You can do this with an external class if you really wanted to. You have to make sure that your drawables that you want to detect collisions for are set as a collidable object using the set collidable action. And then you need to test for that collision within the begin collision class by declaring two drawables, A and B, and getting the item A and item B. That way you have the two items that are being collided, so you can test for what the names are and that kind of stuff, and then have whatever code execute when that collision is detected. And then you can also do some stuff in the finish collision action, but I didn't, simply because you don't need to. So yeah, that pretty much does it for this tutorial, guys. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all in the next one, where we will be learning about vectors.